So I stepped into a casino for the first time in 2009. I'd actually been on a night out with a good friend of mine, and we didn't want the night to end. So we went to a casino for what I believed was a drink, and he wanted to play on the slot machines. I sat and watched him and noticed how quickly he turned £20 into £50, £50 into £100. And I guess in that moment, I wanted some of the same. So I had a go and I won. And then the very next day I went back and I went alone. And that was the beginning of my addiction. For me, the feeling I got of potentially getting that next win or potentially getting a jackpot or coming to the point through my addiction where I was able to almost feel like I could read the machine, and I knew that if I put so much money in, then eventually it would pay out. And what I didn't want to do is leave for someone else to receive the rewards of the money that I'd put in. It had been ingrained in me to almost chase a high. So I suspect I've never taken drugs. It must be the same feeling that you get where you constantly want to feel that high and you don't know when that high is going to come. So the anticipation of the machine potentially paying out is one that gave me that fix that I just needed more of. I stopped using my wages as a source of it becoming more of a fun thing, and I started to get credit. So I would start to take out credit cards, loans, at points when my wages would disappear the day after I'd been paid, or I'd be waiting for my wages to go in so that I could go straight to the casino. I wouldn't always state that the issues were around money because I earned well. I had a successful career and I never used anybody else's money per se to gamble, but I did start finding myself sinking into that depression of debt where in order to get the hits I wanted to spend more, so therefore I needed to get loans out, consolidations, etc. I was a victim of childhood sexual abuse when I was younger, and through that trauma and being silenced from a very young age when I tried to speak out, I think what that ingrained in my DNA was to be silent and to not speak out. And I strongly believe that's why gambling took a grip on me, because it's a non-physical, well, to an extent, it's a non-physical addiction. So it's very easy for me to have the addiction and lead an ordinary life, which is kind of what I'd been conditioned to do from my childhood. I would get in my car and I would go home and I would cook dinner for my husband and I would chat about his day, and I could completely disassociate myself from, if I just lost thousands of pounds, it was so easy for me to just disassociate from what had happened in the day and just become wife Bianca. Because nobody knows about this version of yourself that you become when you're in the helms of it, it's very difficult for you to go to a family member and say, look, you know this person you think I am? Actually, I'm not that person, and this is happening in my life. And I don't have many people in my family who are close allies to me. There's only my father and my grandma, that's it. There's no way I wanted to speak to them because they're so proud of this version of Bianca that's got this career and, you know, has gone on to have children, and it would just never have happened. What I strongly think, if you were in that situation, you should do is speak to somebody that's not any direct closeness to you. So anybody such as GambleAware, an institution, an organisation, or even somebody that you can speak to in confidence that isn't going to place judgment on you. And in order to be on a quest to find myself again, I needed to take myself away from the situation that I was in. In doing that, I started a new life. So my new life started with just me and my 3 dogs, and it meant me taking myself away to focus on my own recovery. But what it also allowed me to do is meet somebody, and that person gave me the strength to open up and to talk more about why I was doing what I was doing. And I think that's really, really important when you have an addiction that's classed as non-physical and it's hidden, is that if you find somebody that you can open up to, you will find that your recovery journey is supported, and then you're not doing this alone, because gambling is a very isolated addiction. And when you don't have anybody to talk to about it because they don't recognise your issues, it is very difficult to stay in recovery, and relapse is something that can happen quite quickly. I'm a very honest person, and I will always be very honest with this. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about gambling. It was a habit that I'd created. I pretty much did every single day from 2009 up until 2022. So for me to just say, oh, I'm in recovery now and I don't think about it, of course I do. The problem with society is it is thrust in my face everywhere I go. Even the journey here, the train, on an advert, when I'm watching TikTok, everything is around gambling, and it's very difficult to just cut it off. I personally decided for my own recovery to just completely ban myself from any institution in this country that allows me to place bets, to go online, to step into a casino. I could be forcibly asked to leave. So I know I cannot physically gamble, but that works for me. I actively ask anybody to consider, when they are gambling, to look at the deeper reasons and not the money, because it becomes about the money, but the reasons you're doing it usually is for something else, and that could be the start of the rest of your life, to actually get help for the real reasons that you are gambling.